Donald Trump just held the most disastrous press conference I think I've ever seen as his poll numbers rapidly decline and Vice President Kamala Harris surges ahead. I'm not really sure what Donald Trump was trying to convey other than he's completely unfit to do anything even near any position of power. Donald Trump started talking about how his crowd size at the January 6th insurrection was bigger than the crowds that Martin Luther King Jr. spoke in front of. Play the clip.
Never see the picture of the crowd. The biggest crowd I've ever spoken. I've spoken to the biggest crowds. Nobody's spoken to crowds bigger than me. If you look at Martin Luther King, when he did his speech, his great speech, and you look at ours, same real estate, same everything, same number of people. If not, we had more. And they said he had 1 million people, but I had 25,000 people. But when you look at the exact same picture, and everything's the same because it was the fountains, the whole thing, all the way back to from Lincoln to Washington, and you look at it, and you look at the picture of his crowd, my crowd, we actually had more people. They said I had 25,000, and he had 1 million people, and I'm okay with it because I liked Dr. Martin Luther King. Yeah.
Then Donald Trump began rambling about how he may no longer do as well with black women, but he bragged that his support with white males is going through the roof, way up, he says, in this bizarre press conference. Play the clip.
A big part of the strategy for your campaign before Harris became the nominee was appealing to black voters. That was something you were really going after. In polls, we really see Harris gaining ground with that group. And I'm wondering how you are going to go after black voters now that she's the nominee and really winning them over.
Well, it changes around a little bit. I'm getting other voters. Perhaps, I was doing very well with black voters, and I still am. I seem to be doing very well with black males. This is according to polls, as you know. It's possible that I won't do as well with black women, but I do seem to be doing very well with other segments, extremely well with Hispanic. Jewish voters way up. White males way up. White males have gone through the roof. White males way up.
Donald Trump then brags about a meeting he had with President Xi of China at Mar-A-Lago on a beautiful sofa. And he points to the sofa where he and President Xi sat together. Play the clip.
I think I'm going to get along great with China. President Xi of China and I were very good friends. We met right here, right in that, except we had a beautiful sofa there as opposed to what we have right now. Right now we have you. But President Xi and I had a very good relationship until COVID. And I held him responsible for COVID. It broke up our relationship. But I think we're going to have a great relationship. And I think it's going to be mutually beneficial. But we cannot have it where China is taking advantage of the United States. And that's what they were doing, as you very well know.
Donald Trump then yells at a reporter and says that the reporter asked a stupid question for asking why Donald Trump has not held a public campaign event for nearly a week. And Donald Trump says that he sees no reason why he needs to through the Democratic National Convention. And he also says that he's doing rallies in his mind at Mar-a-Lago when he is calling into right-wing media. Here, play the clip.
Okay.
Mr. President, you have not had a public campaign event for nearly a week now. Tomorrow you'll be in Montana, which is not a swing state. Some of your allies have expressed concern that you're not taking this race seriously, particularly at a time where there is enthusiasm on the other side. Why haven't you been campaigning this week?
Because I'm leading by a lot and because I'm letting their convention go through. And I am campaigning a lot. I'm doing tremendous amounts of taping here. We have commercials that are at a level I don't think that anybody's ever done before. Plus, in certain cases, I see many of you in the room where I'm speaking to you on phones. I'm speaking to radio. I'm speaking to television. Television's coming over here. Excuse me, what are we doing right now? She's not doing any news conference. You know why she's not doing it? Because she can't do a news conference. She doesn't know how to do a news conference. She's not smart enough to do a news conference. And I'm sorry, we need smart people to lead this country because our country's never been in this danger before, both economically and from an outside perspective. Russia doesn't respect us anymore. China doesn't respect us anymore. North Korea, Kim Jong-un liked me a lot. He doesn't like this group. We are in great danger. We're in great danger of being in World War
Are you
III.
gonna pick
That
up
could
your
happen.
gavel?
No, after their convention, yeah. And I'm going out to certain places to help certain senators get elected. Not even for me. I'm trying to help when I go out to Wyoming or when I go out to Montana, or I'm going to different places to help people. And I don't have to go there because I'm leading those states, as you know, by 35, 40, 50 points. I'm leading by record numbers. I'm going because I want to help senators and congressmen get elected. Congressmen and women get elected. Yes, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. President, can you tell
Donald Trump then continued to whine about crowd sizes, and he lies about the size of crowds he speaks in front of and says nobody's ever spoken to crowds as big as the crowds I speak in front of. Here, play that clip.
But on crowd size, in history, for any country, nobody's had crowds like I have. And you know that. And when she gets 1,000 people and everybody starts jumping, you know that if I had 1,000 people would say, that's the end of his campaign. I have hundreds of thousands of people. In South Carolina, I had 88,000 people. In Alabama, I had 68,000 people. Nobody says about crowd size with me, but she has 1,000 people or 1,500 people, and they say, oh, the enthusiasm's back. No. The enthusiasm is with me and the Republican Party.
So then Donald Trump goes into more of his racist attacks on Vice President Kamala Harris and says that she recently turned black. Here, play this clip.
Mr. President, Kamala Harris's father is Jamaican American, and she went to a historically black college. How is she only recently deciding to be black?
Well, you'll have to ask her that question because she's the one that said it. I didn't say it. So you'll have to ask her. And I very much appreciate that question, but you'll have to ask her. But I've known her for a long time. I actually contributed to her campaign a long time ago because I was a developer. I contributed to lots of campaigns of Democrats, Republicans, and some were liberal and some were conservative. But you'll have to ask her about that. But to me, it doesn't matter. But to her, from her standpoint, I think it's very disrespectful to both, really. Whether it's Indian or black, I think it's very disrespectful to both. To me, it doesn't matter.
Then here, Donald Trump sounds very evasive when asked about his ear. He says it hit him on the lobe, but he's a fast healer. Play the clip.
Yeah. Pretty much recovered. Yeah. I'm a fast healer. It's a hell of a shot, but I'm a fast healer. Yeah. Pretty much recovered. No, it didn't hit that. I got very lucky. It just hit the lobe, as they call it. Yeah, a little bit, not much. On top.
Just look at his face. I mean, it is pure and absolute panic right there. Then Donald Trump talks about Governor Walz and, I mean, incoherent, rambling, odd. Here, listen for yourself. Play the clip.
She's a radical left person at a level that nobody's seen. She picked a radical left man that is, he's got things done that he has positions that are just it's not even possible to believe that they exist. He's going for things that nobody's ever even heard of. Heavy into the transgender world, heavy into lots of different worlds.
Donald Trump then says that the price for gasoline is $7, $8, $9 per barrel. Play the clip.
You know, I don't know if you know, they're drilling now because they had to go back because gasoline was going up to $7, $8, $9 a barrel. So they said, we better do what Trump. But the day after the election,
Donald Trump does have to praise JD Vance. Perhaps that's why Donald Trump gave a shout out to the sofa in his meeting with President Xi, sitting on a sofa. Play this clip.
And I have to tell you, JD Vance has really stepped up. He's doing a fantastic job.
Mr. President.
Oh, and of course, Donald Trump's got to attack once again the Republican governor of Georgia, Governor Kemp. Donald Trump attacks Governor Kemp during this bizarre press conference.
I don't know. Now in Pennsylvania, I have great relationships. In Georgia, I do too, but unfortunately not with the governor. I've never understood it. When you get somebody elected, they're supposed to like you. He's not exactly, for some reason, and you'll have to ask him about that. Yeah, I'd love to see it get repaired. I think that if we don't win Georgia, Georgia is a big win, is a big state. So I won Alabama by a record. Nobody's ever gotten that many votes. I won South Carolina by a record. You don't win Alabama and South Carolina by records and lose Georgia. It doesn't happen. And the people of Georgia understand that. There was tremendous anxiety and problems in Georgia. A lot of people say, what happened? And we have to, all we want is honest elections. If we have honest elections in Georgia, and we have honest elections in Pennsylvania, we're going to win them by a lot.
And again, if you're asking, what is the purpose of this press conference? As he's spiraling out of control, he thinks that he's his best messenger. So he thinks that this is effective. He thinks that this is projecting power and strength. I mean, this is very odd. Donald Trump's then asked about the January 6th insurrectionists, and Donald Trump defends the insurrectionists as they were treated very harshly. Play this clip.
Please.
Mr. President, you just said that it was a peaceful transfer of power last time when you left office. You didn't concede. January 6th was a violent attack. How was that a peaceful transfer of power?
What's your question?
My question is, you think that last time there was a peaceful transfer of power when you left office?
No, I think the people that, if you look at January 6th, which a lot of people aren't talking about very much, I think those people were treated very harshly. When you compare them to other things that took place in this country where a lot of people were killed, nobody was killed on January 6th.
Then Donald Trump says that the abortion issue has pretty much gone away and everyone's happy that Roe v. Wade is overturned, according to Donald Trump. Play the clip.
Yeah. So I think the abortion issue has been very much tempered down, and I've answered, I think, very well in the debate, and it seems to be much less of an issue, especially for those where they have the exceptions, as you know. And I think it's when I look for 52 years, they wanted to bring abortion back to the states. They wanted to get rid of Roe v. Wade, and that's Democrats, Republicans, and independents, and everybody, liberals, conservatives, everybody wanted it back in the states, and I did that. Now the states are voting. And
Donald Trump claims that there's a country, he doesn't say what this country is, where there are people in this country who are encouraged to get guns. And guess what? In this imaginary country, crime is down 29%. Here, play this clip.
Some countries, I don't want to get them in trouble, but some countries have actually gone the opposite way. They had very strong gun laws, and now they have gone the opposite way, where they allowed people to have guns, where in one case they encouraged people to go out and get guns, and crime is down 29%.
And then Donald Trump is asked how he plans to vote on Florida's abortion referendum. And of course, Donald Trump doesn't have an answer, but you know, it's a fair question. What do you want to do where a state like Florida takes away a woman's reproductive rights? Where are you going to vote? What's your position on that? It's a great question. And if you've been watching the MeidasTouch network and you've been hearing from our editor-in-chief, Ron Filipkowski, it's the exact question that we've been saying needs to be asked. Donald Trump responds by saying, well, maybe he'll hold a press conference on this. He's gonna hold a bigly press conference soon on this. Play this clip.
Mr. President.
Go ahead.
How are you planning to vote on Florida's abortion referendum?
On what?
How are you planning to vote on Florida's abortion referendum this November?
Well, I'm going to announce that. I'm going to actually have a press conference on that at some point in the near future, so I don't want to tell you now.
And by the way, this is Donald Trump's tactic that he uses when he just doesn't even know what he's talking about. And then he hopes that the press just forgets that he says he's going to be holding a press conference. Like, remember back in 2016 when people were like, by the way, how did Melania get into the United States of America? Because her story doesn't really add up, Donald. And you've been spending your entire campaign talking about how former President Barack Obama's birth certificate is forged and fake and all of your birther conspiracies. But how'd your wife get here? Remember what Trump said? We're going to hold a press conference. Does he ever hold a press conference? No. And this is where the media, okay, when's that press conference going to be? We here at the MeidasTouch Network are going to hold him accountable for that. Play this clip.
Maybe she came in illegally. Maybe. Let me tell you one thing. She has got it so documented. So she's going to have a little news conference over the next couple of weeks. That's good. That's good. I love it. I love it. They said, Melania Trump may have come into our country illegally. And how would that be for Donald Trump to be talking? Here's the only problem. She came in totally legally. I mean, you know, so it's one of those things. All right, but you'll see it in a little while. I said to her, no, let it simmer for a little while. Let them go wild. Let it simmer.
And look, folks, we make our editorial decision here at the MeidasTouch Network that we don't broadcast these things live. I mean, it's just him ranting and raving and rambling for, hours on end. I just think it's important. If you want to go and watch the full thing for yourself and you're like, hey, I want to see more context for those clips. We try to make sure those clips have all of the context necessary, but go and watch it. I just personally don't want to. I will sit and watch that for you, and because no one should have to suffer through an hour and a half of that, but judge for yourself. Compare that to Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Walz's speech. You tell me what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 3 million subscribers. Thanks for watching and have a great day.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.